So, Sony have had a really shocking week this week. With their announcement that they are stopping to making physical games, their reputation has just sank to a brand new low. And that brings me on to today's video. I'm going to be talking about whether the PS6 is going to fail. Now, even if you asked me before this week, I think this is still a genuinely valid question because there's a lot going against game companies now. Well, like Sony and Microsoft when it comes to making consoles because obviously there's a shortage of RAM due to AI. We need to stop using AI, it's a waste. So there's definitely always been a conversation here about whether it's going to fail or not. But with this announcement now and their reputation being low, I think before you could have banked on the fact, okay, it's PlayStation, no matter what, they're going to succeed after the big success of the PS4 and the PS5. But now I think that has changed. So I'm just going to go through a few points and talk about whether I think it'll fail. From the introduction, you can probably already guess my answer. So obviously the first thing is the stopping their production of discs. People really aren't happy about it. Like if you go online, people are fuming on social media. Like even gaming websites have it out for Sony because like it is a bad idea and like you just have the PlayStation Store now to buy games. You don't even own the games, and the PlayStation Store is such a bad concept because they're just monopolizing the market for PlayStation games, which is terrible. Monopolies are not good for business. They can just set prices to whatever they want. And apparently as well, they're doing dynamic pricing. So what if in like 4 years' time, someone who's played like the Marvel games. What if a new Spider-Man comes out? People who've played it before are getting charged maybe 80, £90, but then someone who's never played it before, like any of the Marvel games, they might get charged like 50, £60 just to try and get them in. Like that's really bad. That's so unethical. And I know that's not confirmed, but I've definitely seen a lot that they're doing dynamic pricing, which is bad. And people also won't be able to play on their old PS4 and PS5 games. Again, that's stupid. Like unless you brought them on the PlayStation Store, well, tough luck if you have a PS6, you can't play it anymore. Like, that's just really unethical and anti consumer, and people are rightfully angry about it. I mean, I'm annoyed about it as well, but there's a lot of people out there. I'm not trying to be like a vocal minority. People are very, very angry about this. Even Rockstar, they've had to pull out of like the marketing that was all over PlayStation, which is very hypocritical considering they're literally making GTA 6 digital only. So, yeah, it's all a bit, it's going a bit mad, but rightfully so. Sony's reputation should be at an all-time low at the moment because what they've done is a disgrace. Now, on to other points which aren't just from this week. It's too expensive. So, there's an article. Apparently, now the production costs for the PS6 is $960. That is £716. And okay, they might take a bit of a cut, like a bit of a hit, but what's that? Maybe 650, £700. Who's buying that? We're in a cost of living crisis right now. That is expensive. Like people don't just have that. Like unless like gaming is like a big hobby for you, then you don't have that money to be spending on gaming right now. Usually what you do is you wait for the price to go down. Like for the PS4, I don't know how much it launched at. I presume like £350, £400, something like that. But then it dropped over time, right? Like on Black Friday, you could get one at times for like £200, £150. Like people will buy that. So you start off with like your hardcore gamers, and then it just kind of slowly trickles down so more and more people can get them. That's good, but that's not going to happen. With the RAM shortages, it's probably just going to go up again. Like the 650, £700 when it first launches, that'll be the cheapest it'll be. It'll go up to £800 eventually, maybe after a year or so. So it's going to be way too expensive. And also, game prices are looking likely to go up eventually as well. Even though there's no plastic, there's no disc, so they should be cheaper. They'll find a way to rise into £80 at some point. They'll say, oh, because the games are better. It's a lie. It's just a lie to make you poorer again. Because the rich will get rich, the poorer will get poorer. And that's what they want. They like their little billionaire status and they don't mind seeing people who are fans of their products be worse off. Another thing as well, it's just not time for a new console. The PS5 has so far only 25 true exclusives. I'm not even sure if they've all been released yet, but that's what it said on Wikipedia. By that I mean games that aren't on the PS4, like on last gen. They've just been built for the PS5, which means the majority of games haven't been fully built to the PS5's capabilities. Because if you got the PS4 version, like obviously the PS5 version can be better, but the core game's been built not to maximize the full potential of the PS5. So why are we moving on to a new generation already? When the PS5 came out, it felt like the PS4 had run its course, but with the PS5, we should have at least another like 2 years minimum, but I'd say three, like 3 years at least, and get some games out there and keep them physical. But they're not going to. They're going to release the PS6, and it's good, right, in a way that like you can play games on the last console because that means if you have the money to upgrade, you're not missing out. But now we're 6 years later almost. There should be more exclusives. There was really no benefit of buying a PS5 on release day unless you were one of those little scalpers trying to rinse people for money by selling them off like $1,000. Like, I got mine on release day and they were really unreliable. Like, I was lucky, but a lot of them were breaking. There was no real exclusives. All the games were on PS4. You may as well wait, no matter what. Even if like you are locked in on the Sony ecosystem, what's the point in getting a PS6 on release day? Apart from if you're trying to get it before it goes up in price again. So I don't think it will be quite as catastrophic as say the Wii U, which was a complete disaster for Nintendo. I do think, like what I said at the start, there are some people that will just get a PlayStation because it's a PlayStation. So they are gonna have some like a certain fan base that no matter what, they will get a PS6 on release day. Like they are proper hardcore locked in on Sony, like PS1 to PS6, they don't mind. They're not really too fussed about digital gaming. But I think a lot of people now have a sour taste in their mouth, and people are already put off because of the pricing anyway. So yeah, there's a lot going against Sony right now, mostly self-inflicted. They can do nothing about RAM. People need to stop generating AI slop, but they've really messed up their brand reputation recently. Their prices, they're going to be bad. It's going to be really expensive. And if you're spending a lot of money at this point, if they're going fully digital, you may as well get a PC. There's more variety. It's not monopoly on there. Like there's competition for game prices, so they're never going to be like astronomically high on there. It's always going to be cheaper than console. If we're going that way, you can also make a PC that's going to be more powerful than a PS6. If you have the money, you may as well go PC. And then if you don't, retro games, I reckon the way to go. Xbox 360, PS3, PS2, PS1. Like, I think that's the way people will probably start going eventually because the games are pretty cheap. They're going to go up, but not like PS6 levels. And you actually own them. And everyone should own things that they buy because isn't that illegal? Like, you're paying to own a license to a game that can be revoked at any point. So, do I think it will fail? No, but I don't think it'll be a massive success. I think it'll have a start like the PS3. It's going to be like the Xbox One moment where their reputation tanks because the console is just not as good because what they've done. They've made errors and it's going to catch them out, I think. So it's not going to be a massive catastrophic fail, but it's not going to be as popular as their most recent consoles. Anyway, that's the end of today's video. If you're still here, you may as well like and subscribe. And remember, get physical media.